Well, welcome back, DIY car guys and car girls. And today, it's pretty darn cold, but still waiting on parts for the S10. This is the 400 small block Chevy. I'm gonna put a Y-size supercharger on it. And I thought this would be a good time to talk about some of the tricks I've learned with a very inexpensive welder, like a Harbor Freight Easy-Flux 125. I have used that for every single thing on my truck. I know some people are like, man, you can't use Flux-Core to weld a cage, or you can't do this, can't do that, but I'm here to tell you that you can. And I know that it's strong enough, because when that dry shaft slung out and the adjustment rod ends on my anti-roll, the tabs, I welded that onto my axle with Flux-Core. And here's the picture right here, and you can see it broke the chromoly adjustment. Started to crack it, but those tabs didn't go anywhere. And I've had several instances where, you know, I welded this stuff and I know for a fact that it is going to hold. So for all those naysayers, there's that image. Remember, everything that has had failures, my welds have held. So today I'm gonna go over some things that are a little bit harder, and I'll show you how I weld the pipe to my cage. So let's go over the stuff that's a lot harder and very tricky. It's, yes, I know, a $150 or $200 welder for sheet metal is not really the best thing to use, but chances are, if you're a DIY person like myself, you're gonna probably pick up something to see if you can do it yourself. And I know you can, and I'll show you how to weld sheet metal like this, because I've used it in several spots in my truck. You look back there, I've welded the metal around the pipe for my cage going down to the frame. I do not recommend, if you're doing any type of cage work, roll bar, you go directly to the frame. Don't go to the floor pan in your cab. That's not how you do it. You go to the frame, because that's going to strengthen the rigidity of your entire vehicle, and it's going to be a lot more secure. So today, that's what we're doing. Let's get started. Okay, so the first thing you need to do before you weld any of this, you need to make a spot for your ground, because obviously this metal is going to be pretty darn dirty, so you need to have a spot for your ground, and everything that you are going to weld, you need to clean. So you're probably going to put it together like this, and you can start from this top angle. Now this is going to be an ideal situation, because there's not much of a gap, because I just cut it and put it back together. But there are all going to be situations where it's going to be like this. So what I'll do is I'll start right here, and then I'll move it out like this. And this is where it's going to be tricky, and you're probably going to want to pull your hair out. But I'll show you a couple of things, little tricks that kind of kept me from pulling my hair out. Still wanted to, but we can get it done. All right, so first, let's talk about this right here. This is your best friend when cleaning sheet metal. The reason why, if you use a grinder to clean it, you already don't have that much metal right here, that much material. So use a wire brush to clean anything off, because the more material you have to weld on thin stuff like this is gonna make your life a lot easier. So let me go ahead and fire up the welder, and we're gonna mess around with the settings and see where we can get it. Okay, so this is where I have my settings. I got the wire speed right around 4. Now, even if you have this exact same unit, I've noticed that on the one that I had to take back because it started to mess up. That's why you always want to get the warranty on these guys. It was a little different than this one. I have the heat all the way down for the sheet metal, and I had the wire speed up right around 4. We'll try that. The reason why you want the wire speed up, because if not, it'll go da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and you want a little more material at it so that it'll kind of puddle up and fill in before it burns through. Now you're gonna have to go slowly with this. I'll show you, but that's the initial settings. Let's try it. Okay, so magnets are your best friend. Let me put a little gap over here, because that's probably more realistic when you weld it. We're gonna start this side close. First thing you're gonna do is just tack it in, of course. See a little burnt through right there? We're gonna go ahead and fix that. All right, good enough for now. Let's go ahead and hit the back side so it'll stay. All right, we got two sides tacked. Get our magnets off. Let's go ahead and clean it. Have this guy readily available because you're going to use it a lot. I like to start with the fresh piece right here. I just put them all in one spot so I can get them later on. Let me go ahead and hit this up. All right, there we go. Work our way down. And we're just gonna basically just tack it. If you try to go too fast, you're gonna burn right on through. You'll see me do this and just scraping some of the slag off the end of the wire. Oops. So I didn't scrape it that time. Like I said, it's a tedious process, but if you have patience, you can definitely do it. All right, so this side we definitely have a crack. You always want to pull with flux. You don't want to push. I've always had way better luck pulling. It makes it a little hard to see what you're doing because you're going into the puddle instead of like pulling it, you know, pushing it out so you're seeing it. But that's just one of the things you got to deal with when you're messing with Flux-Core. So I'm going to try to pull this up. What I'm going to do, I'm going to try to have a little bridge right here. So you kind of have to go, instead of going right down here because you'll definitely burn through, you want to go like this. So let me go ahead and hit it up. I'm just kind of going off this weld right here, down a little bit. So remember, always start at the top on the weld that you already made. Don't start right here, because watch, if I start right here, chances are it's going to blow through. Let me try that real quick. Well, I got lucky, it didn't blow through. And actually, this gap isn't very big, so that's probably why it's working so well. But I'm still going to do that. I'm going to start right here on the weld that's already there, and then kind of come down. All right. Way too long right there. Try to be greedy. Okay, so I didn't go ahead and show you every single little tack I did on this. So basically you're just tacking it up the entire way through on this sheet metal. I know it's a tedious process, but that is the best way that I've discovered to do this. You know, it's not the prettiest, it's not TIG or whatever, but you know, for a cheap welder, DIY stuff, on your own little hot rod or whatever, just simple stuff like this, it works pretty good. Now, you can make it look a little bit better. So I have a belt sander right here. I like to set this guy right here a little off so the belt comes out like that. Right around there. And now we're going to and you can see it really doesn't take that much time if you get like, what grit is this? I think this is like 120 maybe 200. But get a decent grit like that and make sure you have this so it'll kind of conform to whatever you're doing right here. It does it pretty quick. I mean, you can go more if you want, but that's usually pretty good. We're gonna get some black spray paint and we'll just paint it black and we'll never look back, y'all. Man, it's so cold, not sure the spray paint's even gonna work. Good enough, there we go. Ta-da. All right, so now let's talk about welding a roll bar, cage, whatever to your vehicle. Now, it's very important if you are going to do Flux-Core that you get a mild steel piping. And they have kits. The kits that mine came with was for an S10 and it was mild steel piping because we are using Flux-Core. Pretty thick, but trust me, it will penetrate this just fine, and we'll be able to see it here on the opposite side. So as far as the heat, let's go ahead and look at the welder and we'll fire it up and then we'll hit it and see if we're penetrating enough. If not, we'll turn the heat up. But if you notice right here, I did use a grinder on this because it's way thicker, but I kind of beveled this edge all the way around. You don't want it to be super flush with it because you want to hit this edge right here, and this edge, you're going to take your welder and hit it kind of this angle right here, and you're going to fill that entire thing up to flush with both these pipes. And that's how it's going to be strong. You got to put a lot of heat to it. You got to hit it hard to make sure that this guy doesn't break if you get in a wreck or anything. So let's look at the settings on the welder. Okay, so have it all the way to the H. Now they do have settings in the welder which you can hit it up and all that stuff, but I find I'll use a scrap piece and then I'll get the scrap piece to do what I want if the heat's looking good, and then usually I'll just go by those settings and not just what it says on the welder. So that's why I kind of just want to show you guys this. Look at the metal, see how it's penetrating, if it's good enough for what you're using, and use those settings, not what's really on the welder, because that's just a starting point. Okay, just like the thinner stuff, this is going to be your best friend. And of course, clean the area off. This is probably not the best clean area, but clean it off really good where you're going to weld it, make sure there's no rust. And then once you get in position, depending what you're doing, you might have to hold it, but we're going to use a magnet for this, and I'm just going to tack it up real quick. Let's tack it up right here. And then I'm going to tack it back here just to hold it into place. Yep, we're good. All right. Now this right here, definitely try to make one pass because it'll look better. I'm going to do my best. I'm standing and I'm going to try to hit it. It's not really the best angle, but I'm going to try to hit it from right here. And then we're going to keep this at this angle right here. pointed directly into the bottom of the seam. We're gonna try to puddle it up and fill it all the way here. A lot of pressure here going on. Let's see if we can't do it. Okay, my angle's bad, so I'm going to stop it right there. I'm going to hit it again from this angle right here. Make sure it's clean. I'm going to come from here and go all down. It's okay, I'm not a professional. I'm just a DIY guy here, guys. All right, let's clean it up and see what we got. All right, there's one side. Let's do the next side. Make sure it's clean right there. All right, so we're going to get a new piece. Hopefully it's still in frame. I'm gonna start from here like this and go up. I'm not good enough to keep on going around, so don't mind me. Like I said, not professional. Oh, son of a bitch. Yeah, not clean enough. Not clean enough. There we go. That should do it. All right, let me change angles. Let's get it from right here. Whoops, I moved a whole bunch there. Alright, well that wasn't great, but we definitely hit it pretty hard. We got a lot of fill in there. Let's go ahead and clean it up and we'll take a look. Alright, so there it is. You can see we filled all that in. I went back and forth just to make sure that I was hitting it good. It looks like I went a little too fast on this side. One thing about the cheap welders is it'll start off not as hot, but as you keep going it'll get hotter. So I kind of like, when I first start, I always go slower, then I start to go a little bit faster. But we filled all that in pretty good. All the way to this side. This side's a little better because I went a little slower and did a little longer with my strokes. And it looks like we got this side just a little bit better. And if you look in there, you can see hard to see, but you can see where the heat penetrated all the way through to the other end of this guy. So we got good penetration. So let's go ahead and we'll use the belt sander just to clean the spatter. You don't want to use this guy to clean it up at all. You want to be very light when you're hitting your welds. You just want to use the belt sander just to clean up the spatter right here. So when you paint it, it looks a little better. All right, so there it is, cleaned up. All I did was clean up the spatter. There's still some down there, but F it, it's whatever. This is a DIY job, and if you're not making a show car and you just want to get her done, this is it. And then of course, paint it black. And never look back. Hopefully it's been helpful, guys. Until next time, don't forget to subscribe, and peace.